but if you have a hard time, please feel free to step out or do whatever you need to take care of yourself. How do you do this? It's not working.
Hang on, pause. This wasn't one of the nightmares that people talked about in the survey, but maybe it should have been.
Oh, turn on clicker button on the side. Perfect.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay. Has anyone in this room ever watched a horror movie and seen a character that still scares you to this day? Have you ever wondered what goes into the process of bringing that character to life? Well, hi. My name is Sophia Rizzo, and this is my capstone on character creation for film sets, a journey into SFX and prosthetics. When I was 13 years old, I first discovered SFX makeup, and I fell in love with the wow factor behind it. SFX stands for Special Effects Makeup. This is a branch in the makeup industry that specializes in using stage makeup and prosthetics to create realistic injuries and create otherworldly features. As my passion for makeup grew, I decided my goal was to be an SFX makeup artist on film sets. I love making the impossible possible, so for my capstone project, I decided I was going to create my own original horror movie character and make it come to life. For my capstone, I wanted to show the process and time it takes to create the wow factor that you see on film sets. When looking at my future and the career I want, there are many different roles and different departments that bring the makeup to life on the film set. According to an interview with Desiree Falcon, who was the head makeup department on Thelma, this role has one of the biggest jobs. They're in charge of everything. They're the ones who have to read through the script and then discuss it with the director and the art department to come up with the concept image of the character. They then communicate their needs for the specific makeup looks to the different departments. My first challenge, I realized, was that I did not have a script to base my character off of, so I had to completely start from scratch. I knew that for my character, I wanted to make something very unique, but I didn't know where to start. I started doing research on the different types of makeup. There are many different options to choose from, such as makeup for film and television, airbrush makeup, and SFX. The thing with the SFX category is it can be broken down into its own little subcategories, including but not limited to prosthetics, body art, temporary tattoos, face paint, or wounds. For my character, I knew that I was going to have one specific unique prosthetic piece that I would also be using, I would also be using different SFX techniques as well to bring this character together as a whole. Right here you can see some examples of the different SFX makeup looks that I've done on myself or I've done on other people. Before I was going to think about the makeup though, I had to design a backstory. When doing my research on ways to make characters come to life, the most important thing I learned is thinking about how the story progresses and how your character progresses with it. I started sketching ideas of what my character would look like and how the story would work together. When thinking about horror movies and leaving a lasting impression, I decided that I wanted to create something that I could relate to. I decided that I was going to create a common fear that I could also relate to. When I was little, I would always shout down to my parents because I was scared at night that something was going to be in my room. I decided to use my own personal fear to create this creature. I based my character around a bedtime story that parents would tell their children if they were misbehaving to get them to go to sleep. The story would start off with the parents saying to their child that once the 30 minutes had passed, my own original character, the Groxel, would come in, checked in, disguised as their parents. Because this character is a horror movie character, I decided that if the child was not asleep, the Groxel would rip off its disguise, revealing its true identity. It would be this creature with black eyes, bloody skin, with the bottom half of the face replaced with a jaw with super sharp teeth. To add to the fear aspect, I would then have the character open its jaw as wide as possible and eat the child. Once I had the story, I had to create the concept images of what the Graxel would look like. I knew that this story would give me a good foundation on how I could design my character. As the story progressed, I wanted it to reflect on the character's design. When looking at the drawings, I knew that there were parts of this makeup look that could be done in the moment while doing the makeup, such as black contacts for the eyes to give it a non-human look and grayish bloody base for the ripped skin. I wanted to create something though that made this stand out and give it depth, so I added a peeling forehead to my drawing. The crumpled up skin at the top of the forehead would show that a little bit of the human disguise still remained. I knew that I had to create a 3D effect for this to show the Graxel's true form and its disguise. I decided that when the time came, I would add this using toilet paper and a solution used called liquid latex. The question that still remained though was what was I going to create that I could document the process of? I finally had it. I decided the main feature of my character would be a jaw prosthetic that would stand out with sharp teeth. Originally, I wasn't going to create a prosthetic jaw, I was just going to build it onto my face during the makeup process. But on a real film set, having a prosthetic allows for the makeup look to be quickly replicated. I wanted to try something new, learn more, and push my skills as a makeup artist. Since this would be my first time creating a prosthetic, I knew that I had my work cut out for me, but I was excited to